do you feel about the book, Heidi?
I liked it.
Why?
It was party.
The book that we chose was called Beautiful Child by Tori Hayden, and this book is based off of a teacher who has had many experiences in classrooms with problem children, and the author is actually Tori Hayden. That was the teacher. She talks about just different issues that come up in the classroom dealing with children with learning disabilities or social problems, ADD, a multitude of things.
Tori Hayden dealt with 5 main kids throughout her year at the school. 5 of the kids, they all had different qualities about them and different quirks. One of the main kids was Billy, and he took everything very literal when he was told to do something. Like if she told him to go find his chair, he said, "Why? Because it's lost," or something. Like he would say something like that. Yeah, he's a very smart aleck. And he had anger issues, but he had very high IQ. He had like above average. Another kid was Jesse. He was a really, really sweet kid, but he had Tourette's and got in a fight with a lot of the boys there, which all the boys got in a fight with each other. I think every single one. Yeah, every single one got in a fight with each other. Shane and Zane were twins, and they were very awkward-looking twins, the way they were described. But they both have anger issues, but they also are both very, very close to mental retardation and ADD. They had ADD, and
It was really hard for them to focus on activities during the day, which was kind of a problem with all the kids wanting to kill each other, pretty much.
And the 5th kid was Venus, who was the main girl of the book. She's the girl on the cover of the book.
Venus was very unresponsive whenever she was brought into the classroom. Whenever people tried to interact with her, she basically had no involvement whatsoever and seemed completely tuned out to the world. The main issue that they wanted to work on was just getting her to speak, because no one had ever heard her talk before. Some of the things that were going on in her home life, really, she brought with her to school. There was probably more than 10 kids in the home the mother was trying to take care of, so she was working full time. She had a boyfriend that was basically a bum that would go over and watch the kids, but he really just didn't really give a crap. They weren't his own kids. He really didn't care about them at all. There was neglect and abuse, emotional and physical, in the home, and a lot of this really started to show as the year progressed. Different things that she had to deal with were like social service involvement, and it really made us see that we're going to have to be on the lookout for abuse in the home. We're going to have to make sure that our kids are going home to a safe environment and not be afraid to speak up, because Tori had to do that several different times just to try to get someone to intervene and hopefully improve the home life.
At the end of the book, they find social services ends up taking Venus out of the home because they find her naked in the tub, and she ended up having hypothermia, which means the mother had to take her to the hospital. And so they ended up putting her in foster care. And I think she was okay after that. She started responding more once she was out of that situation. But it just kind of gives us, don't be afraid to say something about a kid. If you feel something's wrong about them or something's not right, you need to speak up about it, because then, they're never going to get help if nobody else takes care of or helps or recognizes the situation they're in.
It's still really hard for kids to be completely ripped out of their home that they're so used to, and they may not know any better, and we just think that we're going and we're going to do the right thing for them by taking them out of their home and getting them into the better situation, but it may take that child a long time to adjust and really be happy, and you just kind of have to watch and make sure that those kids aren't getting depressed and they are feeling a sense of belonging in the classroom, which is really what Tori did with her intense programs where she was working with Venus, just making sure that she felt welcome in the classroom. And going along with that, they really stressed a sense of unity and belonging in the classroom, and this was especially prevalent in this classroom because there were so many children with behavioral disorders, and they really were just crazy and out of control at the beginning of the book, but as time went on, she found a couple strategies work just to bring the kids together and help them work in groups, and she wouldn't have to separate them out as much and whatnot. She says, I found a sense of unity was one of the most crucial aspects of my type of Milo and a key to success in working with these sorts of children. Once they felt this sense of belonging, the children often behaved better and demonstrated higher self-esteem that I could not have inspired on my own. And the way that she does this is they start singing different songs in the classroom, and they really just, the kids love this, and it was just something that they could break out into song, and it would completely diffuse the situation. The kids would start being happy and joyful, and they would get to sing as they did their activities, and they really enjoyed this. So those are just an overview of some of the different problems that we feel we are going to come into contact with whenever we start teaching, and it really was helpful to kind of see that. What did you think about the book, Emily?
I liked it. It kind of showed a way that if I did come into a situation with dealing with abuse and crisis, it kind of showed how she dealt with it and kind of helped us kind of see how we would handle it in certain situations. And I think it was a very helpful book, and it's kind of opened your eyes that there are situations out there and there are kids that need your help and that look up to you. What do you think?
Definitely going along with that, I loved it. I think that every teacher should have this book on their teaching shelf, because it really just shows you that even though kids may be labeled as problem kids, they're still really good kids deep down. As long as you can find the motivation to just care for them and just reach out to them, then you can make a difference in the world. And I know it sounds so cheesy, but it takes one kid at a time, and if you can just reach that one kid, then it definitely is worth it. And made me open up my eyes and made me think maybe I could teach kids with behavioral disorders. I don't know, but definitely something to think about. So very good book. Give it a thumbs up. Thanks, guys.